Have you ever wondered if you're pushing yourself too hard when it comes to staying active after 70? You've probably heard the common belief that the more we exercise, the better we'll feel, especially as we age. But what if I told you that pushing yourself too hard could be doing more harm than good? What if the secret to staying healthy in your golden years isn't about lifting heavier weights or running faster, but about finding the right balance? In this video, I'm going to share 6 powerful habits that can help you stay fit, energized, and healthy without overexerting yourself. These are simple, easy-to-implement activities that promote longevity, enhance your mobility, and support your well-being, without risking injury. And here's why you should keep watching. You'll learn real-life stories of people just like you who found ways to stay active in their 70s and beyond, without feeling drained or sore. Whether it's walking, gentle yoga, mindful breathing, or gardening, these habits can completely transform the way you approach aging. So, if you're ready to discover how to stay strong and energized with minimal effort, and how to make the most of your retirement years, stick with me till the end. Let's dive into these life-changing habits that will help you not only live longer but live better. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Story 1. Grandma Ruth's Daily Walks. When we think about staying active as we age, it's all too easy to get caught up in the idea that we have to push ourselves beyond our limits, engaging in strenuous workouts and high-intensity exercise routines. The truth, however, is that this approach can often do more harm than good, especially for those over 70. The body changes as we grow older, and what once felt easy or energizing might now lead to exhaustion or even injury. The most powerful lesson we can learn from the shift is the importance of moving at a pace that honors our bodies, a pace that feels good and sustainable. And for many, that pace is walking, gentle, steady, and consistent. Take Grandma Ruth, for instance. At 72 years old, she was determined to maintain her fitness and stay as active as her younger friends, who could run and jog without hesitation. Wanting to keep up with them, Ruth decided to start jogging every morning, believing she needed to match their energy levels to stay fit. But what began as an attempt to keep pace with the younger crowd soon turned into a struggle. Her body wasn't responding as it once had. She began feeling increasing pain in her knees and hips, joint pain that seemed to intensify after every jog. The initial rush of energy was quickly replaced by fatigue. Instead of feeling refreshed and invigorated after her morning runs, she found herself drained, sore, and frustrated. The weight of it all hit her. The jogging, which she thought would keep her youthful and strong, was doing the opposite. It wasn't just exhausting her, it was taking a toll on her body in ways she hadn't anticipated. It was at this point that Ruth made a choice that would transform her routine and, in many ways, her outlook on fitness. She decided to abandon the pressure of keeping up with the intensity of jogging and instead embraced the soothing simplicity of walking. At first, it was a hard decision. She feared she was stepping backward, wondering if a slower pace meant giving up on her goal of staying in shape. But as she walked, at a pace that felt natural and comfortable to her body, something miraculous started to happen. Her joints, which had once ached with each step during her jogs, gradually began to feel better. The constant soreness that had weighed her down started to fade. She didn't feel drained anymore. She felt more alive, more energized. Walking, it turned out, was not just a substitute for running. It was, in fact, a better choice for her body, giving her the endurance she needed without the strain. What Ruth discovered through her decision to walk rather than push herself too hard was a deeper connection to her own body. She didn't need to force herself into grueling exercise sessions to be fit. Instead, she learned that moving gently and consistently was far more beneficial, both physically and emotionally, than trying to keep up with unrealistic standards. Grandma Ruth found peace in the rhythm of her walks, an opportunity to reflect and recharge. And most importantly, she found a new way to stay active, one that nurtured her health, body, and soul. Walking might seem like such a simple activity, almost too basic to be considered a proper exercise, but Ruth's experience proves otherwise. For those over 70, walking is not just a form of movement. It's a powerful tool for maintaining mobility, relieving stress, and supporting overall heart health. More than that, it's a way to honor your body's needs, a practice that respects your limits rather than pushing them to breaking points. By walking at a pace that works for her, Grandma Ruth discovered that true fitness doesn't come from intense struggle but from listening to your body and finding joy in simple, everyday movements. It's a lesson that we all can learn, no matter our age. Sometimes, the most powerful thing we can do for ourselves is slow down and enjoy the journey. Story 2. George's Yoga Transformation. As we journey through life, our bodies naturally change. Stiffness and reduced flexibility often creep in, especially if we've spent years prioritizing intense activities like weightlifting or cardio. While these strength-building exercises are undeniably important for maintaining muscle mass and overall fitness, they often come at the cost of flexibility and mobility. It's easy to forget that true wellness isn't only about the ability to lift heavy weights or run fast. It's about holistically nurturing our bodies, allowing them to move freely and without pain as we grow older. This balance is where stretching, yoga, or any flexibility-focused practice becomes crucial. Take George, for instance. At 74, George had spent most of his life immersed in weightlifting. The iron was his ally, and the gym was his sanctuary. He felt immense pride in his strength, enjoying the rush of lifting weights and the sense of power it gave him. For years, he marveled at his abilities, watching his muscles grow and his endurance improve. But as time passed, George began to feel the undeniable toll of his intense regimen. His once limber body began showing signs of strain. His shoulders felt tight, his hips were less mobile, and the aching in his lower back grew more frequent. Despite his devotion to lifting, he realized that something was shifting within him. His body wasn't as nimble as it had once been, and the stiffness was now affecting his day-to-day life. There were mornings when getting out of bed felt like an effort, and the pain seemed to linger longer than it used to. He knew something had to change, but he wasn't sure what. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Then, with a sense of vulnerability, George decided to step out of his comfort zone. He tried yoga. At first, he was skeptical. Would gentle stretches and slow movements help him? Could yoga, something he had once dismissed as too soft, possibly bring the results he needed to maintain his strength and mobility? These thoughts weighed on him, but his desire to feel better and reclaim his body's freedom was stronger. So, George enrolled in a beginner yoga class, unsure of what to expect but hopeful for change. It didn't take long for George to experience the unexpected magic of yoga. The simple stretches, combined with deep breathing and mindful movements, began to work wonders on his body. His stiff shoulders slowly loosened, his tight hips felt more fluid, and the pain in his lower back gradually faded away. For the first time in months, George woke up in the morning without the usual stiffness that had become his unwelcome companion. He felt lighter, more agile, and surprisingly at ease in his skin. The healing process was gradual, but every session left him feeling more aligned, not just physically, but emotionally too. But what truly surprised George was how yoga complemented his weightlifting routine. It wasn't about choosing one over the other. Yoga didn't replace his passion for strength training. It enhanced it in ways he hadn't anticipated. The stretches brought balance to his body, easing the tension from his muscles, improving his flexibility, and helping him maintain a better posture throughout the day. His workouts became more effective, and he was able to lift weights with greater ease and far less discomfort. The simple act of stretching after his lifting sessions became a powerful tool in his fitness arsenal, allowing his body to recover and thrive. George's transformation is a poignant reminder that aging isn't a battle against our bodies. It's a journey of understanding and adaptation. It's not just about how much weight you can push or how fast you can move. It's about listening to your body, honoring its needs, and finding harmony between strength and flexibility. Yoga for George wasn't just a physical practice. It was a profound way to reconnect with his body, allowing him to continue living his life with the vitality and freedom he had always cherished. In his story, there's a deep lesson for all of us. The key to aging gracefully lies not in the extremes, but in the beautiful balance of strength, flexibility, and mindful care. Story 3. Elon's gentle strength training. As we grow older, one of the most crucial aspects of our well-being becomes the maintenance of muscle mass. The strength of our muscles directly impacts our balance, mobility, and bone health, vital components for leading a vibrant and independent life. However, as we age, the way we approach strength training must evolve. Gone are the days of lifting heavy weights to prove our strength. The truth is, our bodies change, and so must our routines. Embracing low-resistance exercises, instead of the old, grueling heavy lifting, can be the key to preserving muscle tone and overall vitality, without subjecting our bodies to unnecessary strain. Elon, at 78 years old, was once an embodiment of strength. In her younger years, she was a fixture at the gym, pushing her limits and lifting heavy dumbbells with a kind of power that commanded respect. There was a time when she felt unstoppable, strong, energetic, and empowered by every weight she conquered. Each session felt like a small victory, filling her with a sense of pride and confidence that many would envy. But as the years passed, Elon began to notice subtle shifts in her body that couldn't be ignored. The soreness after each workout began to last longer and linger deeper into her days. She felt exhausted in ways she hadn't before, and her muscles, once fueled by pure strength, now seemed slower to recover. The joint pain, once a mere whisper, started becoming louder with each passing day, and Elon could no longer push through it as she once had. It was a tough pill to swallow. For someone who had always identified with strength, the idea of needing to change her routine felt like a loss. But deep down, Elon knew something had to give. It was during one of those long, aching evenings that she finally made a decision. She would embrace a gentler, kinder approach to strength training. No longer would she aim to push herself beyond her limits. Instead, she began to focus on lighter resistance bands and bodyweight exercises, moving in a way that was both mindful and restorative. These gentle exercises allowed her to maintain her muscle tone, without inflicting the kind of strain that had once felt like an inevitable part of the process. Elon's transition wasn't just physical, it was emotional. In the past, the weight of her dumbbells had symbolized her power. But now, the resistance bands and squats, lunges, and wall push-ups felt empowering in a new, softer way. Each controlled movement brought her a sense of peace. She found herself more in tune with her body, listening to it instead of pushing it beyond its limits. It wasn't just about strength anymore. It was about honoring her body and treating it with the care it deserved. The results were nothing short of transformative. Elon began to notice changes almost immediately. Her muscles were still strong, still toned, but without the relentless soreness and fatigue she had once endured. She felt lighter, more agile, and surprisingly energized after her sessions. It was as if her body was finally getting the rest it had long been craving, while still allowing her to maintain the strength and vitality she cherished. Elon's journey is a powerful reminder that strength training doesn't have to be about lifting more weight or pushing through pain. For those of us over 70, it's not about proving something. It's about adapting to our changing bodies and respecting what they need. By focusing on low-resistance exercises and listening to our bodies, we can still build and preserve muscle health, boost mobility, and ensure that we remain strong and capable, without the risks that come with overloading our joints. Elon's story is proof that, with the right approach, we can continue to grow stronger, healthier, and more empowered in our later years. Strength, after all, isn't just about physical power. It's about resilience, adaptability, and the wisdom to know when to embrace change. Story 4. Bill's mindful breathing. As we journey through life, our bodies inevitably change with time. We start to notice that the things that were once second nature, like climbing stairs without a second thought, running for miles, or powering through intense workouts, no longer come as easily as they once did. It's only natural to feel a sense of loss when we begin to realize that our once boundless energy is not what it used to be. The physical endurance we took for granted seems to fade with age, and this shift often leaves us feeling frustrated or disheartened. But amid these changes, there is a profound truth that many of us tend to overlook: the incredible power of our breath. It is a tool so simple yet so powerful that it can rejuvenate and revitalize us, offering an energy and clarity that doesn't demand the same intense physical exertion that once defined our youth. By embracing the calming, restorative practices of deep breathing and meditation, we can tap into a quiet well of energy that is available to us at any age. This was a lesson Bill, at the age of 80, learned firsthand. For most of his life, Bill had been a marathon runner. He was a man who had defined himself by his endurance and strength, someone who thrived on the challenge of pushing his physical limits. Running was more than just a hobby for Bill, it was a lifestyle. For decades, he found joy and fulfillment in long-distance races. The rhythmic pounding of his feet on the pavement, the cool rush of air against his face as he pushed himself further, faster, and harder, became his definition of vitality. Every race he completed, and every step he took, was a testament to his unwavering commitment to maintaining his physical fitness. But as is the case for all of us, the march of time didn't slow down, and age began to take its toll on Bill. He noticed, almost imperceptibly at first, that his body wasn't quite as responsive as it once had been. The stamina that had once allowed him to run marathons without hesitation now seemed to elude him. Bill began feeling winded more quickly, and the long-distance runs that had once filled him with joy and pride now left him feeling drained, exhausted, and frustrated. It was as if his body was whispering that it could no longer keep up with the demands he had placed on it for so long. The transition from marathon runner to someone whose body no longer easily tolerated such strain was a hard pill to swallow. Yet, instead of pushing through the fatigue, stubbornly trying to maintain the same pace, Bill chose to take a step back and listen. He didn't fight the aging process. Instead, he decided to embrace a different kind of movement, one that would honor his changing body rather than force it into submission. Bill turned to mindful breathing exercises. At first, the idea of slowing down, of focusing on something as simple as his breath, felt counterintuitive. After all, this was a man who had spent decades pushing his physical limits to their absolute edge. But out of curiosity and a deep need to find balance in his life, he gave it a try. He began with deep, slow breaths, concentrating on filling his lungs fully and slowly exhaling. Felt strange at first. His body, accustomed to the rush of exertion, seemed to resist the stillness of it all. But Bill persisted. Gradually, he began incorporating meditation into his daily routine, sitting quietly and focusing on his breath. He discovered that in those moments of stillness, his mind could finally quiet. The constant chatter, the internal pressure to perform, and the nagging worry about his changing abilities all faded into the background. In its place was a sense of peace, a clarity he hadn't known he was missing. As he focused more on his breath, he noticed subtle but profound changes in his body. The tightness that had previously weighed on him began to loosen. His energy levels improved, not in the way that came from running a marathon, but in a gentler, more sustainable way. The tension in his muscles eased, and his mind felt sharper and more focused. What was most surprising to Bill was how deeply this practice connected him to the present moment. In his younger years, when he was running, his mind often wandered to the next goal, the next race, the next personal record. But with mindful breathing, there was no need to strive for something beyond the here and now. He wasn't thinking about how far he could go. He was simply being present with each breath, each exhale. This mindfulness became an anchor for him, a reminder that energy is not only found in physical exertion but in the quiet moments where we allow ourselves to just breathe and be. Over time, Bill found that the benefits of mindful breathing extended beyond just a sense of calm or mental clarity. His body became more attuned to its needs. He could listen more deeply to the signals it was sending, knowing when to rest, when to move, and when to push just a little further. He felt more centered, more grounded, and less burdened by the frustrations of aging. Even on days when he couldn't muster the energy for a long run or a challenging workout, he knew he could rely on his breath to restore his balance and vitality. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Bill's experience is a powerful reminder that staying energized and healthy doesn't always have to come from pushing our bodies to their absolute limits. As we age, our bodies change, and our capacity for intense physical activity may decrease. But that does not mean we are doomed to feel drained or powerless. Instead, we can find new ways to energize ourselves, ways that honor our current state of being rather than resisting it. Through mindful breathing and meditation, we can tap into a deep reservoir of calm, clarity, and energy that doesn't require exhaustion or overexertion. These practices reduce stress, improve mental focus, and increase our sense of well-being, offering a kind of vitality that sustains us in the long term. What Bill discovered is that there is a quiet, restorative energy that resides within each of us, an energy that doesn't require high-intensity workouts or long hours of exertion. By learning to slow down, breathe deeply, and be present in the moment, we can unlock a new way of living, one that honors our changing bodies while still allowing us to feel vital, energized, and connected to the world around us. Deep breathing and meditation aren't just practices for the mind. They are lifelines for the body, offering a sustainable and nourishing way to live with intention, peace, and vitality at any age. Story 5. Margaret's Gardening Habit. Sometimes, it's the simplest, most understated actions that have the deepest impact on our lives, especially as we grow older. These quiet moments, though small and often overlooked, are the very threads that hold our days together. They can transform our routine, elevate our sense of purpose, and keep us connected to the world around us. As we age, it's easy to feel disconnected, to think that our best years are behind us, or that we're no longer capable of making the meaningful contributions we once did. However, in truth, the simple act of engaging in light, daily activities, such as gardening or even managing household chores, can breathe new life into our existence. These small habits can help us stay active, keep us moving, and provide emotional fulfillment in ways we may never have anticipated. They remind us that we don't need to strive for perfection or complex solutions to feel vital. Sometimes, it's the quiet, humble acts that nourish both body and spirit. Margaret, at 76, is a beautiful example of how simple activities, when done with intention and care, can continue to bring joy and purpose into our lives. For Margaret, gardening was never just a hobby. It was a lifelong passion, something that had shaped her identity for decades. It was a space where she felt alive, connected to nature, and at peace. Over the years, she had spent countless hours tending to her plants, watching them grow, bloom, and flourish. Her garden was her pride and joy, a reflection of her care and attention. It was a symbol of what she could create with her hands, a living testament to the beauty of nature. But as Margaret grew older, she started to feel the weight of time. Her body wasn't as strong as it used to be, and her doctor began to advise her to slow down. Gardening, once a joy-filled escape, had started to feel physically demanding. The heavy lifting, the bending down, and the constant movement had taken their toll. How can I keep doing this without hurting myself? She wondered. The idea of giving up her beloved garden was unthinkable. After all, it wasn't just the plants that gave her joy, it was the very act of gardening that nourished her soul. Rather than abandoning her passion, Margaret took a deep breath and decided to adapt. She knew that the love she had for her garden was too important to let go, so she began to explore a different way to tend to it. Instead of rushing through the tasks, Margaret chose to embrace a slower pace, allowing herself the grace to move gently and carefully through her daily gardening ritual. No longer did she carry heavy bags of soil or crouch down for long periods to pull weeds. Instead, she took her time, gently pulling weeds by hand, planting flowers in small pots that didn't require heavy lifting, and trimming her bushes in shorter, more manageable intervals. She worked at her own pace, listening to her body and honoring its limits, but still ensuring that she was engaged, active, and connected to her passion. It didn't take long for Margaret to realize that these small adjustments were exactly what she needed. They opened up an entirely new dimension of enjoyment for her. By slowing down, she was able to savor the beauty of her garden in a way she hadn't before. She noticed the delicate petals of the flowers, the way the sunlight played off the leaves, and how the breeze moved through the branches. Gardening, once a physically taxing chore, had become a peaceful, meditative experience. The joy Margaret had once found in seeing her plants grow was still there, but now it was accompanied by a deeper sense of fulfillment. The act of gardening became something spiritual. It wasn't just about creating beauty, it was about nurturing life, both hers and the plants she cared for. Watching the flowers bloom under her careful attention felt like a daily miracle, a reminder that no matter how old she was, there was always room for growth, renewal, and creation. But it wasn't just the plants that were growing. Margaret was too. As she spent time outside, breathing in the fresh air and feeling the sun on her face, she felt a reconnection to herself, to the earth, and the world around her. There was something profoundly healing in this daily ritual, something that went beyond the physical act of gardening. Being outdoors, with the earth beneath her feet and the sky above her head, allowed Margaret to find a deep sense of peace. It grounded her, reminding her that life, in all its simplicity, is beautiful and worth celebrating, even as we age. Each plant, each flower, became a symbol of resilience, a reminder that, even in the later stages of life, we can still bloom, we can still grow, and we can still find beauty in the world. Gardening also gave Margaret something else, a sense of purpose. As the days passed, she realized that this daily routine wasn't just about keeping her body active, it was about nurturing something greater than herself. In tending to her garden, she found fulfillment in the quiet satisfaction of a task well done. The act of caring for something, of watching it grow and thrive, was immensely rewarding. It gave her a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to keep moving, and a reason to smile when she saw the results of her labor. She had a deep understanding that, even in old age, she had something to offer, something valuable to nurture. It was in this realization that Margaret found a renewed sense of joy, a joy that came from her connection to the earth, to her surroundings, and to the life that was still flourishing within her. As the months passed, Margaret's routine became more than just an activity. It became a meditation, a form of self-care, and a way of staying engaged with life. Through gardening, she kept her body flexible and energized, even without having to commit to more strenuous exercise routines. It was the perfect balance. Margaret didn't need to go to the gym or follow a strict workout regimen to stay healthy. She only needed to spend time in her garden, where the simple acts of planting, weeding, and trimming kept her moving, kept her active, and kept her heart full. Her garden wasn't just a place for flowers. It was a sanctuary for her soul, a place where she could reflect, find peace, and be reminded of the beauty of life, even in its later years. Margaret's story serves as a powerful reminder that we don't need to chase after complex or intense solutions to stay active and healthy as we grow older. Sometimes, the simplest things, the ones that bring us joy, peace, and fulfillment, are the most powerful. Gardening, or any small daily habit, can help us stay physically active, emotionally nourished, and spiritually fulfilled. You don't have to engage in high-impact exercises or push yourself to extremes to stay healthy. Sometimes, the most beautiful and sustaining practices come from within, from the quiet, daily rituals that keep us grounded, connected, and alive. Gardening, for Margaret, became a living testament to the joy of living intentionally, and it's a reminder to all of us that no matter our age, we can still bloom where we are planted. Story 6. Arthur's social engagement. As we age, many of us are often told that the key to staying healthy and feeling young lies in physical exercise. Getting up, moving our bodies, and staying active. While this is undeniably important, something crucial often gets left out of the conversation. the power of mental stimulation and, perhaps more importantly, social engagement. As we enter our later years, the need for human connection, intellectual challenge, and emotional fulfillment becomes just as essential to our well-being as maintaining a fit body. Staying mentally and socially active can nourish our minds, lift our spirits, and offer us a sense of purpose in ways that physical exercise alone can't achieve. Many of the benefits we experience from exercise pale in comparison to the profound impact that meaningful social interactions can have on our health. Arthur, at 82 years old, has experienced this firsthand. He has lived a life full of both challenges and triumphs, but one thing has remained constant: his unwavering commitment to being socially engaged and mentally stimulated. Rather than focusing solely on physical exercise or trying to keep up with the latest fitness trends, Arthur found deep fulfillment in connecting with others, sharing ideas, and engaging in activities that fed both his intellect and his heart. His story is a shining example of how social engagement can have a transformative effect on one's quality of life in older age. For years, Arthur has been a beloved member of his local community. He's not just a passive observer, he's actively involved. Arthur attends a weekly book club where he discusses literature with friends, many of whom have been with him for decades. These sessions are not just about reading books, they are opportunities for intellectual exchange, where ideas flow freely and opinions are shaped and reshaped. Through these discussions, Arthur is continuously challenged to think critically and expand his horizons. This engagement has kept his mind sharp, and as he will tell you, it's been just as vital to his health as his daily walks or occasional trips to the gym. In the book club, he's not just reading. He's actively participating, debating, and connecting with others on a profound level. But Arthur didn't stop there. He also joined several local volunteer groups, offering his time and energy to causes that he truly cares about. Whether it's helping out at the community center, supporting local food drives, or volunteering at the senior center, Arthur finds tremendous satisfaction in giving back to his community. These volunteer opportunities have not only kept him physically active but also emotionally fulfilled. He finds joy in knowing that he's making a tangible difference in the lives of others. The gratitude he receives from those he helps is a powerful reminder of his worth and impact, reinforcing the idea that the act of giving can, in turn, nourish the giver's soul. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. As Arthur reflects on his journey, he is the first to acknowledge the profound effects these social interactions and volunteer work have had on his well-being. They have not only kept him mentally engaged, but also have become a source of emotional fulfillment that has had an undeniable impact on his overall health. Arthur has come to realize that while physical exercise is important, it is his social connections, the bonds he shares with others, and the intellectual stimulation he receives that truly contribute to his happiness and longevity. The sense of purpose he has gained from these activities is immeasurable. Arthur finds meaning in helping others and in contributing to the betterment of his community. It's this sense of belonging, this connection to something greater than himself, that makes him feel alive. His relationships with others, whether through volunteering, reading, or simply having a deep conversation with a friend, have infused his life with a vitality that keeps him feeling young. These activities have allowed Arthur to maintain a strong sense of purpose, which in turn has helped him to feel more energized and emotionally balanced. Arthur's story is a powerful reminder of how important social and intellectual engagement is for our well-being as we age. So often, we hear about the importance of staying physically active, but we don't always recognize how deeply our mental and emotional health can influence our physical state. Arthur's life highlights the incredible value of maintaining an active social life, not just for emotional reasons, but for our physical health as well. It's not about being in the gym every day, it's about being connected to the world around you, learning new things, sharing experiences, and helping others. These connections are not just nice to have, they are vital to our survival. The more Arthur participated in his community, the more alive he felt. It wasn't just that his mind stayed sharp, it was that his heart stayed full. The joy he gets from spending time with others and learning new things is immeasurable. He has found that being engaged with his community makes him feel mentally and emotionally more alive, energized, and optimistic about the future. He's proven that when we choose to surround ourselves with people who challenge us, inspire us, and lift us, we create a rich, fulfilling life. One that doesn't need to be measured by the number of steps we take each day, but by the number of lives we touch, the depth of our relationships, and the wisdom we share. Arthur's journey encourages us to embrace the power of social connection and mental stimulation as we grow older. It's easy to forget how deeply we need one another, especially as we enter later stages of life. Yet, for many of us, these relationships and activities are what offer more vitality, meaning, and joy than any workout routine ever could. If we want to live not just longer but better, we must invest in nurturing our relationships, engaging with our communities, and continuously feeding our minds and hearts. After all, the more we give, the more we receive, and in this exchange, we find the true fountain of youth. As we come to the end of Arthur's inspiring story, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far. Staying mentally and socially engaged in our later years isn't just a nice bonus. It's a vital part of our well-being. Arthur's experience teaches us the immense value of connecting with others, sharing knowledge, and contributing to our communities. These meaningful connections and intellectual activities can help us live not only longer but richer, more fulfilling lives. So, I want to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned from Arthur's story that you plan to bring into your own life? Whether it's about staying socially active, joining a volunteer group, or engaging in intellectual activities, I'd love for you to share it in the comments below this video. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, please leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, and share it with others who might benefit. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and remember, your engagement, both with others and with yourself, is a key ingredient to living a long, healthy, and joyful life. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.